Hello Coolers, it's Pablo here and welcome back to Barca Universal. And the international break has allowed us to take a look at some other topics surrounding Barcelona, and today is more of the same, guys. We're going to be discussing La Masia. It's actually a topic that you guys in the comments have asked me about quite a lot, and more specifically, guys, we're going to be talking about La Masia's talents, the players in Barcelona B, even some in the Juvenil A team, so that's the team just below Barcelona B, the under-19s really. And we're going to be basically discussing the top talents, the players who actually could be making it to the first team pretty goddamn soon. So without any further ado, let's get started. We're going to be going through a lot of players right now that I'm hoping you guys will know a few of. Maybe you won't know all of them, but it will give you guys a good understanding as to who are the players who can make a real impact on the Barcelona first team pretty soon. Now, before we begin, the list I'm going to be bringing to you guys here is just a list that I've made that I think are the most realistic options that could make it to the first team soon, but this is by no means saying that the rest just won't make it, forget about them. That is not how it works. Football changes on a daily basis, and I'm sure in the coming months, certainly the coming years, plenty of new players are going to come through, plenty of new prospects. But right now, guys, I wanted to make this video basically informing you guys as the ones who are closest, the ones who you really could be seeing on your screens pretty soon. And let's begin with the goalkeeper position, because you guys do need to know about two names here really who actually could be Barcelona players, official first team players, really soon. Now, we spoke about this in a video recently surrounding transfers, and well, the two names you guys need to know about are IñAKI PEÑA and Arnau Tenas, two really impressive young goalkeepers. They fit the mould of the Barcelona goalkeeper very well, very attentive off their line, very comfortable with the ball at their feet. And if Neto is to leave in the summer, one of these guys will be promoted to the Barcelona first team, so this will be another La Masia graduate coming. What I'm hearing is it's going to be IñAKI PEÑA. I'm a fan of them both. Maybe Tenas is a little bit louder. Certainly he's very vocal at the back, but I think PEÑA reminds me of almost a younger sort of Stegen with his frame and the way he plays the ball at the back. But it's looking like it's going to be IñAKI PEñA as the number 2 for Barcelona next season. But Arnau Tenas for me is someone you need to watch out for. Very impressive with the Spain youth teams too. Two really good goalkeepers we've got here in La Masia. And if you are to think, any goalkeepers coming through Barcelona's academy, well, these are the two guys. And next season, you could be seeing IñAKI PEñA in the first team. Let's now move on to defenders then, and actually recently we've seen a lot of defenders moved into the first team. Of course, we saw Araujo at the start of this season get a first team number. Oscar Mingueza this season has been an absolute revelation, hasn't he? He's one of the guys that if I made this list a year ago, I wouldn't have included him. So that says it all, random people, random players can just come up and impress. That's the beauty of this academy, I suppose, and Mingueza has been amazing this season, hasn't he? And we hope next season he will be an official first team player. And of course, guys, La Masia graduate we let go, Eric Garcia, should be returning to the club this summer. So our defence right now is already packed with La Masia players, but believe me, there's plenty more. I think first of all, if we're looking at the heart of defence, Arnau Tenas, a centre-back who's been really, really impressive for Barcelona B this season. Ever since Mingueza went up to the first team, he's really stepped up. He's had a great season. And I think if we were to have another injury crisis at centre-back next season, say, Araujo, Eric Garcia, Longley will get injured, then someone like Arnau Tenas for me is someone who could definitely come up and make the step to the first team. Mika Marmol is another player who's been decently impressive of late, but I just don't think he's going to be making it to the first team anytime soon. But someone who I think will be, guys, is Alejandro BALDÉ. And I'm sure you guys have heard of BALDÉ. We've spoken about him in a few videos, and you've probably heard his name rattling around the Spanish newspapers. But BALDÉ is actually a left-back for Barcelona, an attacking left-back, very young, of course. And you get the feeling with Junior Firpo likely being sold in the summer, if Alaba goes to Real Madrid, if Barcelona don't decide to put any money into getting a new left-back to the club, then I think someone like BALDÉ could definitely be used in the Barcelona first team. Like I said, we've heard about his name before, and I honestly think that he's one of the ones right now knocking on Koeman's door, and he's probably quite close actually to make his full team debut. He would provide some cover for Alba. He's a young left-back who they clearly think very highly of, so watch out for BALDÉ. He could be in the first team pretty soon. In midfield, as you would expect, we are absolutely jam-packed with options. There are so many good players here, so many talented young players that we could be bringing into the first team. And I actually think this is the position that Barcelona should focus the most on promoting youth players through. I actually touched on this point in our latest video talking about, Wijnaldum coming to the club, and I actually said, what, let's look at La Masia. We've already seen this season Ilaix Moriba come through. We've got Ricky Puig in the first team already, but there are so many more guys. And as you'd expect, La Masia producing a lot of talent in the midfield area. And also what's worth noting is that the players that come from La Masia, they understand how to be a Barcelona midfielder more than any other player you can bring from another club in the world. The ones who come through the youth system understand perfectly, the positional play, what you need to do to be a Barcelona midfielder, and that's why it's so useful to bring these guys through. And the first name I want to bring you guys is Jandro Orellana. This guy for me is someone who you should look at if you're thinking who can be Busquets' replacement, who can be his successor. I think Jandro for me is the one we should look for. He's a defensive midfielder, the pivot role, very comfortable on the ball. And I honestly think if we are struggling to find someone in the market, for example, who is saying, can you replace Busquets? Can you do that job for us? I honestly think Jandro is someone we should look at. I really do. So watch out for Jandro Orellana. He certainly could be for me the Busquets successor. Then we move on now to Nico Gonzalez, who's someone who is also thought of very highly at the club. A little bit similar to Arnau, but I do see Nico as more of an interior. He can play in the pivot role, and probably the club actually maybe see Nico as, you know what, he's a little more versatile than Arnau. He can play in both roles. Maybe he could do the Busquets role pretty well, and I definitely think Nico right now is someone to look out for. Maybe not in the near future, but next season we could be seeing him make his debut in a couple games, that's for sure. And then I think if you move even further on, guys, you've got players like Pablo Gavi, who really is a top young player. This guy is someone who you really need to look out for. You know, perhaps you've heard of his name before. He's a gem in La Masia, basically extremely young, only 16 years old, born in 2004, and he's already made his debut with the Barcelona B team, unsurprisingly, you know, despite being in the Juvenil A side right now, officially the under-19s for Barcelona. But this guy is 16 years old, very special player. But, you know, you've got Gavi alongside players like Nico and Arnau. I honestly do think watch out for these guys. I think Arnau, you know, he could definitely be that Busquets role. Nico, watch out for very soon. And Gavi, despite his age, you know, he's got a lot of talent, and he's someone that I think Barcelona will think of very highly and could put up to the first team soon. You know, maybe sort of an Anasol-like leap where you go straight from the under-19s to the first team, so watch out. But a player I individually want to talk about at Barcelona being in terms of a La Masia product is Alex Collado. I think this is someone who I'm sure you've all heard of now. He's made his debut with the first team for sure. He's a very mature player. You know, he's turning 22 in April. He's a captain of Barcelona B. But I think apart from all of these things we can label Collado as, he's a very good footballer. He's extremely good. Probably the best right now, actually, in the whole of La Masia. Probably the best player at Barcelona B. Very capable, and I honestly do think, guys, that Barcelona could seriously be thinking, you know what, let's get Collado on the first team. He's ready now, isn't he? And you get the feeling if Barcelona are to make the decision in the summer, sale or first team, it probably is one of the other two. I doubt he'll stay at Barcelona B until he's like 23 years old, because he is such a talented player. So Barcelona are going to have to make that decision. Is there any space for him in the first team is the issue. Looking at it, probably not. So, you know, it's an interesting one, the Collado situation, but I definitely think, guys, Collado, someone who should be played more, someone who we definitely should be looking at for the first team, and I'm sure you guys have heard of him too, you know, a really quality player. And I'm going to round off the video here with just two more players for now. You know, I've gone through quite a lot of players, and already some of the guys I'm listing, they could definitely make it to the first team soon. So right now, La Masia is booming. It's going really well. Let's start again here with Konrad de la Fuente. I'm sure you guys have again heard of him. Not born and bred La Masia or Catalan, but a winger now who we have seen for a few occasions in the squad list. He made his Barcelona debut against Cornellà in the Cup. Hasn't really been seen since, though. I definitely think Konrad is a player who we could have actually seen a lot more earlier on in the season, but he hasn't really got the chances. I don't know why. I think now there are other players in, like Griezmann, Dembélé, Messi, Braithwaite, Trincao. A lot of players in those areas now, but we had injuries earlier on in the season. Certain players weren't performing, and I do honestly think Konrad could have had a go in that zone, the left wing, right wing, wherever you want him. He can play on either side, but I think Konrad, his chances of getting to the first team, maybe they've dipped a little bit. I definitely think we could be seeing him in the near future, but it seemed a little more clear the path to the first team a few months ago. So let's see what happens with Konrad. Certainly an interesting and exciting winger whenever I watch him play, though. And then to round off, guys, there's PEñA, who's a young striker, maybe the best fit, actually, if we're thinking, do we have any number 9s in the B team? Because we never really do we at Barcelona, but I think PEñA is the one you'd look for. Not an out-and-out striker, to be fair, but certainly, you know, a very mobile young striker, you know, very comfortable with the ball, what you'd expect from La Masia. And I don't actually think we're going to be seeing PEñA in the first team all that soon, but if Barcelona are thinking, you know what, is there anyone we can bring in here to get us a goal, make something happen in attack, bring other players into play, then you know what, PEñA could be the one they look for. So that is where I will wrap up the video, guys. I think it is important to note before you guys leave that how well La Masia is doing right now. I think under Koeman we're already seeing La Masia is being reborn, to be fair. You go right through the team there. You've got one of the goalkeepers will come up in IñAKI PEñA. In our defence, as I mentioned, we've got so many La Masia products and even more coming through. Midfield, you've got absolute, you know, bags of ability there. You're looking at Gavi, Arnau, Nico, really top players on top of the likes of Ricky Puig, who's already in the first team. And then up front, guys, you know, as you'd expect, we got some dangerous players here. Alex Collado, Konrad, PEñA is another one to look out for. So, you know, for Barcelona B, I think it's going really well right now. Of course, they're going to try and get themselves promoted to the second division. And hey, guys, there are more players that I haven't even mentioned in this video that could be getting their way to the first team or the B team very soon from the under-19s, for example. So, look, loads of talent, loads of players coming through. La Masia is doing really well right now, and that's great to see. So please do leave all your thoughts in the comments down below. I know you guys wanted this video for a while now, so I thought I'll get it out there. I'll make a nice list of who the players I think are the ones that can make it to the first team soon. There are plenty. I hope I gave a nice overview of it for you guys. And yeah, that's where I will indeed end the video. Until then, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.